The Bone Metal Zone, now with 45% fewer blood stains, 100% more other kinds of stains. Metal Zone!
107.7 The Bone, that is Machine Head, Aesthetics of Hate in the Metal Zone from the Blackening. Before that, Trivium with Anthem and Hatebreed with This Is Now. Hatebreed and Trivium going to be part of that giant Black Friday show at the Warfield on November 27th. Chimera, Cannibal Corpse, Unearthed, Born of Osiris, tons of bands on that one. AEG Live is where you pick up those tickets. In the studio with me tonight, Robb Flynn from Machine Head, here to tell us the story behind the Aesthetics of Hate. Because, I mean, you kind of touched on it a little bit ago, but I think it's kind of a really big deal that you guys put that song out, because I never would have known that that article existed if you guys hadn't written a song about it. You want to give people like a synopsis of where it came from?
Well, basically about 5 days after Dimebag died, this very popular conservative website called The Iconoclast, but one of the writers put up an article on there called Aesthetics of Hate, Goodbye Dimebag Darrell and Good Riddance. And it was basically just said how he reaped what he sowed by playing metal, that he deserved what he got because he was part of the kind of like the destruction of humanity, and like just he had a lot of like references to like, he was commenting on, like, part of the article was commenting on the fact that people were mourning this man's death, and he was kind of making jokes about the fact that all these like people with mullets are standing around like mourning this guy, and he was talking about like the news and stuff like that, and it was, as someone, we're not trying to say that we were like the greatest friends with Dimebag Darrell. We weren't, we could call ourselves a friend though, and to read this about Dimebag, who, 5 days after his murder was horrific. I mean, all of us were furious. I mean, it was disgusting, and how'd
you come across the article?
Well, it ended up on Blabbermouth, but the reason it had been on CNN, it had gotten so much attention on like 7 major news sites, and after it came out originally on where it came from, that it just kind of turned into this other thing. And in the end, I think it had like 15 million hits or something, and it was just like, it was just wrong that it even got that much attention, and it got that far. And we made the decision, or I made the decision, that I was going to try and write a song about that then, and because I was, it was unbelievable. It was unbelievable. In a circumstance, like if something like that would have came out after John Lennon was murdered,
right,
the world would have been
horrified.
I mean, people would have been calling for this dude's head, but because it was, Dimebag Darrell and it was a metal artist, it was kind of like, well,
Who cares
they
about
had,
I
mean, there was like a couple of congressmen that came out and were just like, oh, this isn't a tragedy. He's part of this culture of death and all this stuff. And, it was like kind of like that. And it was like, F you guys, man. Like, this is so out of line. We're going to have to put you back in line. And so we wrote a really pissed off song about it. And it's just, it got criticized when it came out for being, Neanderthal and just, anger and all this stuff. And you know what? That's exactly what it was. It was a simple burst of Neanderthal anger, and it felt really good to put out there. And, got nominated for a Grammy, so a lot of people other felt that way too.
Now, Hindsight, it's 3 years later. Has there been any kind of, like you and the band have never had any interaction with this guy who wrote the article, right? Mm-hmm. No one ever contacted you after the CD came out or anything?
They contacted our record company about it, but they never directly contacted our management or us as a band. There wasn't any kind of... it wasn't like the Disney situation where we had this kind of consequences and repercussions. Exactly. I mean, they were very unhappy about it, the Iconoclast and stuff like that, but we were just like, whatever, that's how we feel, F you guys.
Everybody gets free speech, not just them. 107.7 The Bone, it's the Metal Zone. Robb Flynn hanging out with us tonight because they're going to be playing in 5 weeks December 12th, Metallica, Machine Head, HP Pavilion. Tickets are on sale now at apeconcerts.com. On the way, I think it's time for some Lamb of God, yet another one of the bands that you guys have toured with. It's 107.7 The Bone. It's the Metal Zone.
The Bone Metal Zone.